Hello friends, how you doing today? My name is Laura Kashera and welcome to my keto kitchen. I have something yummy in store for you today. Today we are going to be talking about keto-friendly bagels. If you're like me at all, you are terribly missing bagels and cream cheese in general. Well, of course cream cheese you can have, but for the longest time I haven't had bagels and I absolutely love them. They're totally one of my favorite things to eat. I love going to a bakery that makes fresh bagels, and after finding out that I don't do well on gluten many years ago, I never have them, and I love them, and I crave them, and it makes me so sad to not be able to have them. If you love bagels, feel free to drop, I guess, cheese below, because there's no bagel emoji, but anyway, keep on watching if you want to learn how to make keto bagels. They're super simple. I created them last night. This is my own recipe that I just fiddled with. I'm sure there are plenty of others on Pinterest. Again, and first of all, if you're watching me live, feel free to drop a 1 below, and if you're watching the replay, drop a 2 below, and feel free to share this. I really appreciate it, and I'd love to give you a full name shout out, so that way all of your keto friends, low carb, high fat friends, anyone who should be doing this diet with you can see this video too. And let's get started. So this is super easy. I started kind of with a pizza crust recipe, and I am going to go live about that here soon because it's way simpler than most people think. But as soon as I posted a picture of these incredible bagels I made last night, everyone freaked out and was like, come on, you gotta go live. So we're doing that instead, then we'll do pizza crust later, right? So super simple. All you're going to need today is, I'm almost gone, almond flour, and 2 eggs. I've got them already cracked here so that I didn't make a lot of noise. I am sorry if this is picking up any background noise. It's pouring rain / snow back and forth, and so it's coming in my skylight. So hopefully you can't hear that. Cream cheese and mozzarella cheese. That's all you need. 4 ingredients and then seasoning. And so today I'm actually going to be using the Trader Joe's everything but the bagel seasoning. I've had this for a few weeks because I saw how popular it was. And I couldn't figure out what to make with it, and then it was like, duh, come up with a bagel. So here we go. If you don't have this seasoning, it was only, I think, $1.99, $2.99 at Trader Joe's. The ingredients are sesame seeds, sea salt, minced garlic, minced onion, black sesame seeds, and poppy seeds. So if you don't have this seasoning, you don't have one nearby you, the nearest Trader Joe's to me is an hour and a half away from me, so I made it worth my trip and went to Costco. Hello. But you could also use, all those seasonings individually if you want the everything topping. So those are the only things we're using today. First of all, what I did is you're going to take 2 tablespoons of cream cheese and 3 cups of mozzarella cheese, put them in a bowl together. There's my lighting. Sorry, it's funky in the snow weather outside. I already melted it in the microwave. You're going to put it in the microwave for 1.5 minutes, but my phone is actually balancing on my microwave, and so I didn't want to do that right now and have it be like, and like shaking everything. So that's super easy. Melt for 1 minute to 1.5 minutes. As soon as these are melted together, you're just going to take a wooden spoon and mix it around so it's all mixed together. And if you're new to my broadcast, I'd love for you to drop new below so I can reach out and we can become better friends. I do 3 keto kitchen lives a week, so I'm always looking for new ideas, new recipes, things you want me to test out for you. So it's going to be all mixed together like that. Super easy, right? Then you're simply going to pour your 2 eggs into the bowl. Voila. And then 2 cups of almond flour. I use Bob's Red Mill. I get the big box on Amazon, but I know there's a bunch of other great brands out there. It did take me a long time to go live today because I wanted to test out the coconut flour, because I know a lot of people can't have almond flour for allergy reasons or other reasons. And so if you're going to do it with coconut flour, do only 1 cup. I don't know what it is about that flour, but I tried it with 2 cups and it was like poof, just explosion all over the kitchen. Way too much flour. So 2 cups of almond flour, only 1 cup of coconut if you're going to go the coconut route. Hi Stephanie, thanks for watching. And everybody else that's on here, I can't see you, I'm sorry. And so I need a bigger bowl to mix. So I'm going to put this in here with the almond flour. And I will show you at the end, I did test out the coconut bagels. I have them done and cooked to show you. And so both ways did turn out. And I will post this recipe when I'm done. I just haven't typed it up. I kind of have to go live when my son is asleep, and so he fell asleep, so here I am, and then I'll type up the recipe for you afterwards. So simply now I'm just mixing it in the bowl, all 4 ingredients. And you will notice that with the flour near the end, it's going to get kind of, not dry, but like harder to mix with your spoon. And so then when it kind of hits this point, this doughy point, I usually take a little bit of water and use my hands. Clean, of course. And so you just wet your hands, and luckily the water won't do anything bad to the dough. And so you can see I'm just kind of kneading it. And it won't be perfect. Like, this is kind of how fathead pizza dough is anyway, if you've ever made that before. My dog just scored some dough because it fell out. All right, so then you kind of want to get to this point. Make sure the cheese, egg, and dough mixture is all mixed together like this. Also, my recipes tend to be a little bit on the larger size of quantity because I like to have enough for me and my husband and my son and for the week so that I don't have to make it 4 times during the week. So once your dough is like this, you're gonna heat your oven to 375, by the way, which it already is hot, so I'm sorry if I keep like bouncing over. It's because I keep touching it. So now this is totally up to you how big you want to make your bagels. For me, I kind of realized these almost come out like a bagel thin or a bagel flat where you can just put the cream cheese on top of it. But you could also make them thicker and bake them and then cut them in half if you really want to do that. This is the one I made last night. Pretty decent size in comparison to my face. I have a big face. Just kidding. But yeah, so this is the bagel I made last night. You can see it's pretty dense, and so it'd be kind of hard to cut in half, but I'm sure you could maybe mess with the flours a little bit. I also noticed that the coconut flour came out fluffier, so you'd probably have a better chance of cutting that in half. So I'm going to take about this much dough, and if it starts sticking to your hands, simply get a little bit of cold water, and then it won't stick. And then I kind of just, like you're playing with Play-Doh, you can tell I have a 2-year-old, kind of just roll it out in your hands. It's harder to roll on the counter because it's just so sticky with all the cheese. So I'm going to make my bagel about this size. Ta-da! And so it fits in the palm of my hand. And then you kind of just are going to fuss with it a little bit, change the shape if that's really important to you. I kind of just make sure it's not cracking or breaking anywhere. Not that I wouldn't eat it anyway, because it's delicious. But like I said, you can then pick what kind of bagel shape you want. If you want it really tall, if you want it really thin and flat. I think, like I said, I'm kind of going to eat this as a bagel thin. And so I think this time I'm probably going to flatten them a little bit more so they're a little bit wider. And so that's one bagel. In this batch, I found makes about 6 to 8 bagels. Again, if you want to make them giant, you could totally make giant bagels. You could make smaller ones. I also tested something earlier where you could just like braid it or just make like pieces of flat bread if that's what you feel like doing. It'll bake the same though, however you want. And so I'm going to do one more really quick here. And so, of course, your macros and everything like that are going to change depending on the size of the bagel. I will enter them into my Fitness Pal and find out what the macros are for you guys based on 6 or 8 bagels. But again, the bigger the bagel, of course, the more fat it's going to be, which is delicious and totally allowed. So they're not going to be the most beautiful. And so here, I'm not going to make you just sit here and watch me do all of them, but you can see I have 2 bagels like this. They won't look perfect, but that's okay. The best part about this is your basic bagel recipe. So from here on out, you could totally be creative, do whatever you want with them. Feel free to drop below. I'd love to know what your favorite type of bagel is, because I'm curious now that I've made an everything bagel. I totally want to try other recipes. I got sesame seeds last night, so you could make sesame seed bagels. I just thought you could totally make a pizza bagel. Parmesan cheese bagels. So at this point, you kind of have free reign for your creativity. If you just wanted plain, I think I'm gonna make a batch of plain for my son because he just loves plain bagels with cream cheese. And then you could take an egg, and I'm not gonna do that for these, but you could take an egg and scramble it up in a bowl and then do an egg wash on these and apply whatever toppings you need if they won't stick. For me, like I said, I'm gonna use the Trader Joe's Everything But the Bagel seasoning. If you love this seasoning, drop a 6 below. The seasoning is amazing. You do have to be a little careful because it does have sea salt in it, so if you get too carried away, your bagels will be quite salty. So then you could either do the egg wash on them and just sprinkle the everything seasoning on them if you don't want a lot. You can also take a little bit of water, just spread a little water on top, and then put the seasoning on. Last night what I did is I just sprinkled the seasoning on a paper plate, and then I took each of my bagels, peel it off here. I don't know if you can see this, probably not. Okay, so I took my bagel, took my paper plate with seasoning, and I just flipped it over like so. Got plenty of seasoning on it. Now it looks like that. And it's got the everything seasoning. So I did that to all of my bagels. And then you put them in the oven for 18 minutes at 375. The almond flour bagels seem to work a little bit better as far as picking them up and transporting them to the seasoning, whereas the coconut ones kind of fell apart and were pretty crumbly. So for those, I just did the egg wash or a little bit of water and sprinkled the seasoning on them instead of trying to flip them and then flip them back. So this is what they look like. Ta-da! Put them in the oven, and then they're in for 18 minutes at 375. Ta-da! Piece of cake. This batch will make about 6 to 8. Let me grab my little baggie here so I can show you guys. I have dough all over my hands, but they saved really well last night. I also wanted to test that out so I could report back this morning to make sure they weren't horrible the next day after I refrigerated them. I do recommend refrigerating them because they have egg and cheese in them, so do that. This is, of course, my first batch, but these were in a little Ziploc in the fridge. They're delicious. The almond flour, like I said, is a little more dense. I just put mine in the toaster oven for my lunch today, and then it came out perfect. I slathered cream cheese all over it, and it was totally delicious. Those of you who are waiting to find out about the coconut flour bagels, so I did a little comparison for you guys. So thorough, right? Okay, so here's the almond flour bagel. You can see it's very dense, which is the way I like it. Delicious. They're both delicious though. So this is a coconut flour bagel. You can see in comparison, it's like very light and airy and fluffy on this one. This is another coconut flour bagel. So the color's a little bit different. They're fluffier. They do have that coconut smell or taste, so be aware if you're cool with that, with the whole like sweet and salty thing, because you're gonna have the everything seasoning that has like garlic and salt and then like sweet coconut. But if you can't have almond flour, do this anyway, or switch out the toppings, do just cheese, do whatever. It'll still be awesome. You'll love it. This is the everything bagel with almond flour. And then I'll show you, like, these are so dense. I thought about making a breakfast sandwich too. Like, how good would that be? So like I said, you can try and cut it in half, but honestly, I kind of just like it this way. Layer it with cream cheese. Yeah. Making my mouth water. I'm gonna eat one of these when I'm done, I think. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, I'd love for you to share it with your friends, share it in your favorite keto groups. This again is the Everything Keto bagel with almond flour, and also an alternative recipe for coconut flour. I'd love to hear your recommendations or ideas for my next keto kitchen. Again, I do 3 a week. My name is Laura Kashera. I appreciate you taking your time out of your busy day to watch me, and I will talk to you soon. Have a great day.